You know, there's loads of other people out there that will respect you. Go and find them. Don't surround yourself with people that don't respect your right to be you. I don't care if they're family, I don't care who they are. If they don't respect your right to be you, then what you're doing, interacting with them all the time, it's just going to make you depressed, it's going to make you frustrated. Walk away. And if they then come round, great. But if they don't, well, equally great. People think, oh, that's strange. Well, if they realized how little we can actually see, they would be shocked if they haven't come across it.
Now, at first I thought it was end of the world. Now I see end of the world as end of their world. Anybody with a decent telescope could take a look both the surface of the moon and the surface of Mars and see some things that look very terrestrial and things that didn't exist 20, 30 years ago. One of the caveats that I do have some personal information that I did get personally involved in was some information that had to do with stargates and looking glass, and more specifically the 2012 problem with those projects. Well, I guess popular opinion of what's out there right now is that the project was shut down because there was a problem when we approached 2012. I've heard it described a number of ways, but to my knowledge, the problem is that the timelines converge on that point in time. And when you know enough about the Stargate projects and the Looking Glass project to know that how string theory works and how the possibility of possibilities works and how making one choice over here doesn't necessarily mean that the other choice couldn't exist at the same time. But once you get your brain wrapped around this subject, you find out that at the end of 2012, in an easy way to put it, the choices that we make become less and less consequential to the future. And eventually we're pushed into this bottleneck of time, no matter which choice we make. And that's important to the people that had access to Looking Glass because they would use Looking Glass knowing the choices that they would make and the future would pop up.
Most people are not living their lives. They're not living who they are. They're living what they think others think they should be. And therefore, they're living a lie. They're living someone else's version of them. What happened to me as a result of that massive ridicule is that I let go of the fear of what other people thought. And when you do that, it's indescribable what that does. What I did was let go of that fear of what other people thought of me. And the freedom is indescribable. Because like I say, you don't have the mental gymnastics. How do I put this so they won't think I'm crazy? What do I leave out so they won't think I'm crazy? You reach this point where this is me, and I don't give a damn if you think I'm crazy.
How did you do that?
Well, it's something that comes from letting go of the fear of what other people think. You know, I mean, if you ask people to write down, say, their top 5 fears, all over the world, invariably, the vast majority would include speaking in public, right? What is the fear of speaking in public? It's the fear of what other people think.
Ridicule, shame.
Yeah, it's the fear of what other people think. So when you stand on a stage, if you fear what other people think, you can be nervous because the power dynamic is with the audience, because they are going to decide if you feel secure or not. So you're scanning the audience as you're speaking and you're looking for reaction. What do they think of it? That power is there. Once you let go of the fear of what other people think, you can speak to 100 people or 1,000,000 people. It doesn't matter. because the dynamic has changed. The dynamic now says, this is my truth, and I respect your right to make of it what you will and come to your own conclusion. But this is my truth, and your reaction is not going to affect my truth.
Now, because we're multidimensional, and ultimately, I mean, what is the I? The I would suggest, is a point of attention within a state of infinite awareness, infinite consciousness. Now, that point of attention can be the size of a pea if we choose to make it so, or ultimately it can be infinity itself. If you are in anything close to that state, you are not manipulatable by a bunch of idiots that want to control the human society. So what you've got to do is shut your target population off from that expanded state of awareness where they'll see through your game to a point where they won't. One of the things that happens when you expand your awareness is you start to see connections. You stop seeing pixels, you start to see pictures. You stop seeing dots, you start to see pictures. The more you focus attention and are manipulated and encouraged to focus attention on the five senses alone, the more everything becomes dots, everything becomes pixels. Everything seems apart from everything else instead of connected. And so you don't want people seeing the connections because they'll see your connections and they'll see your game. That's what happened to me. You've got to keep them in a state of five sense focus. Can I see it, touch it, taste it, hear it, etc.? Okay, it exists then. Can I not do any of those things? It can't exist then. And I've just described actually the foundations of mainstream science. Not by accident. You have to control mainstream science to control people's perception of reality. So you create a mainstream science narrative that basically describes a solid world, brackets quantum physics shown it can't be, where everything's apart from everything else. And when you come into the realm of the five senses and this whole realm of illusory physicality and materialism, what do you see? You see a world of limitation. You see a world of I can't. You see a world in which to change anything is really slow and laborious and almost, oh, you can't change this, it's impossible, it's too big. And that's exactly where they want the target population to be, in five sense focus. Another thing that happens with five sense focus is, as with expanded awareness, you see that actually we're all expressions of each other. We're all points of attention in the same infinite state of awareness. Once you get into the five sense level, everything seems apart from everything else, including other people.